Hello everybody, John Ashworth here, the Fitness Nomad, now at Harbor Athletic Club, and if you'd like to claim yours right off the bat here, go to nomadkickstart.com. You can read and learn more about my Fitness Nomad Kickstart program designed to jumpstart your life and double your energy level. Lock in your spot today and we'll get you going over there at Harbor Athletic Club. Today's topic is why there is no substitute for a coach, and interestingly enough, I have a story from my morning that will illustrate this point very clearly. I was working on this video. I sat down, I was inspired, I had the idea, I was all ready to go. And sure enough, the little video head that I'm talking to you from right now through the screen disappeared. I couldn't find it. I had pulled it off the screen, moved it off the screen so that I could set up the video, and suddenly I couldn't find it. An hour and 15 minutes later, I finally figured out what was going on. And of course, I learned a lot in the process, but here's the point. Excuse me for a second. The point is, if I could have talked to one of the experts over at Shiny White Box in Australia, I could have got my answer in 5 minutes or less and been on my way. But instead, an hour and 15 minutes later, here I am, I'm finally bringing you this video. That is the topic of the day. Why there is no substitute for having a good coach. And first, I just have some notes up on the screen here just so that I can hit my points. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I use my new software application to take advantage of my coaching skills, my fitness coaching skills, so that I can help you most effectively. So, there are a lot of apps and social media out there. There's a lot of talk about this application, that application. There are probably thousands of applications out there right now that you can use to track your health and fitness information. Are you going to do that? In my experience, in 20 plus years, I can't even get my clients to track stuff because they don't want to do it. They're busy, they're humans, they're resistant to it, they're in denial, whatever. It's hard to get people to track stuff. Now, there is a faction, a group of people out there who will track stuff and will do it on their own, but for the most part, there's no substitute for having a person on the other end. People are what motivate people. Coaches are what motivate and inspire people. And that is what this post today is all about. You can have the fanciest, shiniest white box in the world in an application. But if you're not held accountable to logging in and putting your data in, it's very likely that 8 out of 10 people are not going to do anything. Now, what I've done in my software application is create a simplified way of tracking the most important things, because my job as your coach, as you'll see there at the bottom, coaches not only motivate, but provide accountability, expert guidance, and support. And it's that top one that I'm talking about right now related to the software here. It's through this process of checking in on your weekly goals that I provide you a level of accountability that you're just not going to get on your own. I don't care how great the application is. If you go out and do something today and no one's checking in with you tomorrow, the likelihood that you're going to do the thing or log the thing is unlikely, as I've been saying. So, but it gets a little bit more complex than that, and that's that second part of that, which is, sorry, I got to move my screens around a little bit so you can see. The second part of it is you got your accountability right here, expert guidance. Support, that's a given. I'm here for you. I want to help you. And I want to help create the environments that help you be successful. But it's this expert guidance and accountability combined that provide the good, valuable 1-2 punch. And here's what I'm talking about. So tracking everything is, I'll say, not necessary. You don't have to track every rep and every set and every time, every minute of cardio that you do and every single thing to an exact T. That is not necessary. Now, the more data, the better. Fantastic. The more data is more helpful. But for the most part, here's the thing. If we sit down each week and we have a conversation in the context of your strength and conditioning training session or a chat in a private room about things you're really struggling with, whatever the case might be, if we do that, pardon me another second, I can't edit these videos, so when I get stuck or I have to cough or sneeze or something, I have to pause it momentarily. If we have a chance to sit down or talk, and I'm doing my job as an expert coach, that's this expert guidance I'm talking about, I am going to be able to help you set a series of weekly goals that make sense for you today. These are the things that are most important for you to be working on right now, and also that you're ready to work on, and that make the most sense for you in the context of everything else that is going on for you in your life right now. So here's an example. One of the goals I decided this week that I would set for myself. I don't have a coach. I'm coaching myself at the moment. Well, that's not true. I work with coaches in a variety of different settings. But at any rate, right now I've got, for weekly goals, morning yoga that I want to do every day, and I want to stretch every day. And yes, those two are different, because getting up in the morning and doing yoga creates a very different effect on me than if I just stretch every day. So actually the morning yoga goal is a lifestyle goal. The stretching goal is an exercise goal. Okay, so there's a very kind of subtle nuance, but important. Because when I don't do my morning yoga, I'm not as grounded during the day, I'm not as relaxed, I'm not as good of a coach, I'm not as good of a dad, husband, all that stuff. I'm not as good, I'm not as creative. Everything is affected by whether or not I do that morning yoga. Okay, so today I decided, all right, well, we're going to set up another weekly goal. Now, those other ones, hold on a second. Those other ones, if I go back to enter weekly goals, these started on the 30th or the 31st, and they're going through the 30th or the 31st. So I'm going to run this interval goal through the whatever 7 days is from the 31st. Okay, so it's an exercise goal, and I'm just going to say intervals. Let's say perform intervals. Ay. Okay, so perform intervals, and I want to do this. This I'm not going to set up on a weekly, daily. Well, actually, so there's another nuance. I can set this up as just a weekly goal and say I want to do at least one interval every day. And then the denominator of the goal would be 7. But in this case, I'm going to say 10. I want to do 10 intervals per week. Now, that means I'm going to have to check that off a couple of times when I log in, but that's okay. So we're going to go and we're going to say this started on the 31st, which was a few days ago. And we're going to say this ends then. If it starts on the 31st, I know I got to move this over so you can see it. Starts on the 31st, that's day 1. And then we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll end on Friday. All right. And we're going to click OK. Now, what I was talking about is when I go back to enter weekly goals, and this comes back up on the screen, now what you're going to see is that it's kind of weird because it's 0 out of 10. Every time I do an interval, I'm going to check that off. Now, so today I did 2. So I'm going to check it off once. Not a big deal. Check it off again. Boom. I'm 2 out of 10. And you'll see if you're watching these adherence scores closely, that will be changing these adherence scores on a regular basis immediately. Now, 2 out of 10 is going to kind of negatively affect the exercise score until I get to the end and I'm 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Then it will more accurately reflect what's going on. Okay. That I feel for myself, I need more cardio. I'm trying to burn up a little fat. I'm trying to drop another 5 pounds, drop another % or 2 of body fat. And I'm real good with my strength training, and I'm real good with my swimming, and I'm decent with walking every day. But I need something that's going to rev up my routine just a little bit. But I got to be careful. I don't want to go crazy, because if I do, then my back will start bothering me. And again, this is the nuances of all these weekly goals. So not only am I just saying 10 intervals, I'm not saying I got to reach 95% of my max heart rate or that I got to do 6 intervals 3 days a week. I'm just saying do 10 intervals. Today I was out on a walk with the dog, and I picked 50 to 100 yard stretches of distance and just jogged those. Because I was walking, I went to a jog, so I boost my heart rate from 90 to 120 or 130 for, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. That's it, my 2 intervals. If I keep doing that and nothing else changes, I'm going to burn more calories. I'm going to tip that energy balance in my equation a little bit more favorably for my weight loss efforts, and things are going to improve. Now, in addition to that, you can begin to see that if I'm going to start doing those intervals, then I better be really good about not just my morning yoga, but my daily stretching, because I know that this body that was beaten down when I was younger, playing at high levels, all-American soccer player, played at the Division I level, 15, 18 years of soccer, that unless I'm doing my stretching, those intervals are just going to make me tighter and make me more sore, and then I'll end up doing less. Okay? Now, the other goal that I'm going to set up here while I'm here, just so you can see again how this works, is, so we go to set up weekly goals, exercise, strength training. And actually I was at the gym yesterday with Carl, and he and I did this. And 2 days a week is enough of this, or again my back starts to scream at me. So I'm just going to say that goes from today to, again, the 6th, Friday. Boom, that's going to go in there. Now I come back here and I go enter weekly goals so you can just see it. So now I've got 4 very important goals for me personally for this week. There are no nutrition goals there, and there really should be. Got some bad habits around nutrition. Like to snack a little bit too much late at night, but I'm not going to throw those in because I want to keep it simple, and I don't want this video to go on and on. Can you see, hopefully, got a little bit into the down and dirty of the whole thing, but you can see, right? This is a complex process. Me as your coach setting up a set of weekly goals that make sense for you, and then giving you a way to track those goals that is not overwhelming. In this case, all you have to do as a client now is do your morning yoga, try to sneak in intervals wherever you can sneak them in. And I'm saying too, like if I'm in my home office right now, there's a set of stairs right here, right next to me. I can spend 5 minutes going up and down these stairs. I'm going to call that an interval. All right, boom, there. Now I got 3 out of 10. Stretch daily. Make sure and get to the gym twice per week. Now that one gets a little bit more complex because I've got to create the space in my life in order to get to the gym. But then I'm not going to ask you as my client to track everything you do in there. If you got to the gym and you did some strength training, for now I'm happy. Now if you've got more sophisticated things that you're working toward, we're going to have to get more sophisticated with the tracking. But everything goes from simple to complex, but it's very difficult to do all this without a coach. Would love to have you in my Nomad Kickstart program. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to share my passions with you. This is John Ashworth, the Fitness Nomad, now at Harbor Athletic Club. Go to nomadkickstart.com and reserve your spot today. Take care, everybody.